Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Shifnal podcast, sponsored by Princeborough. Good evening to Nico.
Evening.
Nico, did you enjoy your first podcast with us?
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, lovely to hear it back and get the views from a different perspective. Yeah.
And how are things going? Because obviously when we spoke to you last, I think training hadn't started and things like that, but I've come up to the training tonight and it looks all fantastic out there.
Yeah, we've been going for a couple of weeks now. Hopefully the boys are enjoying it. I've put some good sessions on. Started off nice and light and worked it up, and we're more or less hitting it hard now. So it's all good.
And it's amazing how quick the time goes, isn't it? Because just over a week and that first game's there, bang, isn't it?
It's going really quick. Even the sessions, no sooner have you started, you're almost finishing, and you blink and it's gone. So we're just trying to get as much in as we can, and do it methodically and properly.
And I bet it feels like you've never been away, doesn't it, after having a little break from football?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Excellent. Thrilled for you, mate. Steve, would you like to introduce our new assistant manager as well?
Yeah, evening, Deakz.
Cheers, mate. Evening.
Deakz, nice to meet you. Deakz, would you like to give us a bit of a background in football?
Yeah, so I was a pro at Warsaw, dropped into the conference with Tamworth, and then went around various non-league clubs, Hounslow in Bromsgrove, Redditch, and then went into management with Romulus at Step 4 at the age of 27.
Wow.
And then went in at Hensford Town as assistant manager for 2 years. Come out of it and then got reappointed as director of football, which I held the role till about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And then come out of it, and I've just had a breather until I was contacted by Con with the opportunity to come in here at Shifnal Town.
Did you have a relationship with Connor before? Like, did you know him through various things in football?
No, I didn't know Con. I know a lot of the lads that Connor signed. They're lads that I've signed as well.
Yeah.
And I think just the feeling around it was Connor's done very well at the levels that he's worked at. He's been successful. Now stepping up, I feel that I can help him with the experience that I've been at a higher level. And to be honest, the way it's going at the moment's been really good. We've got like a house on fire, and he's young, enthusiastic, and if I can just help him and mentor him a little bit along the way, then I think it's a good combination. And obviously with Nico here as well, doing all the coaching sessions, which I think the lads have said and we've said as well that have been brilliant so far, then it's a good mix between the three of us.
And obviously since you left Hensford, you weren't sure of offers, but what in particular attracted you to Shifnal?
Yeah, I've had a few offers on the table. Obviously, going from assistant manager at Hensford, going to a director of football role, I think I'm contacted by every manager in non-league regarding players and spotting talent, and I've produced a few players myself that have gone on and gone into the league. So I've been approached about recruitment roles at a couple of clubs at Step 2, going in as a number 2, as a number 3 at Step 3 and 4. But I purposely took my time coming out of Hensford, and the workload that I had and stuff like that, I had to make sure it was the right move for me. And then going back into the dugout for the last 6 or 7 games at Hensford, really enjoyed it again, and seeing the impact that I made and the upturning results, I thought I need to be in as somebody else's number 2. That's where I feel I'm good, as a number 2. And then obviously the opportunity, after speaking to Con and meeting the chair, I thought, do you know what, this is a place that the building, and they've got ambition, and it was a club that I wanted to be at.
And have you had much to do with Shifnal in the past in terms of opposition teams when you've been involved at other clubs?
No, nothing. Literally nothing at all. I watched a couple of games last year and was impressed with the setup. Scouting players and looking at players when Hensford ended the game, and looking at a couple, but nothing at all. And I think that's a positive, because I had no affiliation to the club, but it was the ambition and the people that are in and around it that really attracted me to it.
And have you ever come across Nico in the past in terms of coaching and stuff like that?
No, and it's really weird because we've only been in 2 or 3 sessions, but we get on so well. And I think it's important that we're all on the same hymn sheet, singing off the same hymn sheet. But I always say in football, you're only as good as the people around you, and you have to be loyal, you have to be trustworthy. And it's a bit of a strange one because we don't really know each other, but already we've got that connection that we're in it together, and listen, we're a good strong unit already.
So the last time I spoke with Steve, we were talking a bit about kind of philosophies in football. you know, what are your philosophies in football in terms of how you like it to be played?
You have to work hard, 100%, and I've laid that down to the lads. Listen, we've got ambitions. I take it. We have an end goal, but I take it game by game. You're only as good as your last game. But I've said to the lads, we will enjoy it off the pitch, but it has to be right on it. Every single training session and every single game, we have to be on it. So first and foremost, you have to work hard, and that's I'm massive on that about put it in. You come here to work. When we're here, we working. People have bad games, people will make mistakes, we're all human, we all do it, and I can live with that. But first and foremost, you have to put it in.
Absolutely. And have you got similar views to Connor and Nico in terms of formations and things like that? It's always an interesting one, isn't it? Because there's so many different views out there now. You know, you get lots of teams who are refusing to play more than one up front, things like that. What's your kind of view on it?
I think formations and systems and that change all the time. You have to respect the opposition. You have to take into consideration what they're doing, but we have to be brave in what we do as well, and we'll set up in the ways that we feel. Are we there yet? No. We've only had 2 or 3 sessions. We're still looking at lads. We're still going to sign a couple. People will leave the football club, so that will take time, and that's why we're having games, you know, pre-season to see where we're at. And
I'm assuming you've got quite a few contacts within this league in terms of, you know, players, managers of other teams, coaches of other teams. Would you like to expand on that a bit?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I'm not just saying it, I think I'm the most contacted man in non-league in terms of players and managers. I get phone calls every single day, and I've got a lot of contacts, not only in non-league, but in terms of, you know, from the Premiership, whether it's at Villa, whether it's a Championship, always, you know, use the loan market really well, but always build up these relationships with football clubs, which I think you need, especially as you drop down and, listen, the money's tight, you know, so you need to use the market as much as you can, but contacting football, yeah, really well connected.
And what are you most looking forward to in terms of this season at Shifnal?
Kyle Bennett in the dressing room. Looking forward to getting a group together that all buy into what we want to do and having a great go at the season. You know, everybody putting it in. And listen, we've got an end goal, like I say, but game by game standards.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you spent much time in Shifnal as a town, relevant to the football club? Like, have you know, been around the various bars and stuff like that, curry houses?
Listen, if I spend time in these bars and these curry houses, I won't be here for very long. Because I'll be kicked out, mate. I'm telling you now.
Come on, we're gonna have to watch this one, I sense. Troublemaker. It's good job we got Nico to keep him in check, isn't it?
Sitting here, sitting in
I've heard that we've had to, in the Reds bar, you weren't happy with the wine standards. We've had to invest in some wines, is that correct?
Well, there was no wine at the ground, so that
Oh,
had to be changed. But I've got in here now, there's a lovely bottle of Zinfandel, so
very
I'm
sophisticated.
Yeah.
Don't get many wine drinkers like that.
They've only got a couple in. I'll go for about 3 or 4 after a game if we win, so they'll have to stock up.
We might have to look at a wine bar, Mick, as opposed to, you know what I mean? It's new market here just for yourself.
That's it.
Deakz, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I wish you every success at Shifnal.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're going to do a great job. Steve, Nico, it's brilliant to chat to you again. I love watching your session tonight. Let's keep going and roll on next season.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.